What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you come in and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to comment on some statements that Sydney Colson made. She was on a podcast, and I think the podcast was hosted by Candace Parker and also Aaliyah Boston was on there, right? And basically, what they were speaking about, mainly Sydney Colson, was about she was surprised and caught off guard about the amount of hate that she caught from being on the Fever team, right? And I don't know what it is about the Fever that is making teams, like hate them or have some type of resentment against them. I can see like hating a team like the what is it? Like the Vegas Aces, right? You got somebody on a team like Asia Wilson who's very outspoken. Then you have them, they won, I think, for like three championships in 4 years. And so they're dominating in from that aspect. So teams, it seems like teams would want to be shooting at them. Like the Las Vegas Aces seem like they would be the ones who would be catching all the, getting everybody's best game. Or even people could be jealous of them because of the success that they have. You got a coach in Becky Hammond who is very outspoken. H. Wilson very outspoken. So, but it's not like that. It's like everybody, people don't even worry about the Aces. Most of their hate is directed toward towards the Fever, right? And so, and Sydney Colson was caught off guard when she got there. And I want to play what she said about this situation.
Coming into this season, but once people started talking, once I was here and experiencing it, like people had a lot to say. There was a lot of negativity coming my way, and I just looked at it like, you know, I'm not used to this. Typically, I'm the person that people are just like, oh, we love Sid, that's funny, blah blah blah. Some people be like, not funny, and I'm like, they don't have a sense of humor. But like, for the most part, for the most part, people have liked me and have admired me from the outside, but that's never made me do the things I do. Like I do the things that I do because I enjoy my teammates.
I stand by this. Like,
All right, so she's saying that she's basically not going to allow what is it, peer pressure to to run her and tell her like she shouldn't be on this team. She said she feel like because she's getting people's attention that it lets her know that she's doing the right thing, right? And so again, I don't personally understand why everybody's going at the Fever, or not going at them, but basically why they're jealous of them and they're hating on the Fever. And to me, you have people on that team. Only person I think like, all right, with Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's she's like in her second year, going into her third year. I don't know. I just think that by now it's saying like they should be over it as far as like trying to prove whether they think she is better than them or not. You know, I think that as a professional athlete, your focus would be trying to make it to the championship and win it all instead of focusing on one player. But that's not what a lot of teams are doing around the league. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some more of the exchange between Sydney Colson, Aaliyah Boston, and Candace Parker.
The injury happened. I'm like, once again, this is something that I don't fully get, but this must be where I need to be, sidelined. And it made me an even more vocal leader. It made me pay attention to things maybe that I wasn't paying attention to that other people had going on. So I could be more tapped into if they're having a hard time and I need to come over here and help them out, whether it's mental, physical, whatever. I had to get outside of me. And that was the lesson that I learned in this. I hope it's the one that God wanted me to learn, but yeah, it was just one of those things that nobody wants that to happen.
and like that's one of the things.
All right, so now also she's right there. She was speaking on the fact that she did get hurt during the season, right? But she also it helped her mature too because she realized that she cannot cave into like peer pressure or outside pressure and allow people from other teams to dictate how she operate on the team that she's playing for. Uh, and I think that, in my opinion, I think that's a good attitude to have because going forward, next year, if she's still with the Fever, they're going to need to be able to, and that's what you need. You need players who are going to be able to, like, everybody going to be able to rally around each other and stick together and not do like Dewana Bonner and get there, and then when they see one thing and they were like, that's not for me. I'm going, they're going to try to do things to get out of their contract. You want players who want to be there, and then not only want to be there, but they're going to go that extra, put in that extra 110% in order to make sure not just she's all right, but the team is okay. So, I think that's a good look for Sydney Colson. Still don't think that well, I still don't get why the rest of the league is hating on the Fever. And I mean, basically, I think it boils down to jealousy. But when you're talking about professional athletes, I would think that jealousy would take a back seat to a situation where everybody can benefit, like the whole league can benefit from Caitlin Clark, the attention that she's benefiting from the league. So even if you were a player who didn't think that Caitlin Clark was as good as you or was worth all the hype and that came with her, you still have to see and be able to recognize, the impact that she's having, like you can't ignore that. So, I like the fact that Sydney Colson is mentally tough. So by her being mentally tough, that just makes the team more formidable. You got Aaliyah Boston. I think she's not really. I think she's tougher than what people think she is. Mentally, I think she's tougher. I watched her in that series against the Vegas Aces, and she gave Asia Wilson fits at times. Like when it came to Asia Wilson trying to play her, she just was physical with her, and so she did her thing, and they almost pulled off. They almost beat the Aces. So when you have these kind of players on there who just hungry like that and they want it, I think it's a good look for the Indiana Fever. They got, in my opinion, I like Stephanie White, right? A lot of Fever fans don't like her, but I mean, you can't deny the success, and the coaching job that she did this year. So whether you agree with what she's doing as far as like how she's playing Caitlin Clark or not, that might be one thing. But like I said, you can't deny the success that she's had because they was minutes away from making it to all the way to the championship with a team with they had a lot of injuries and stuff like that, so they could have really just packed it in early and said, well, we're going to see what we can do in the draft and we'll come back next year stronger. But no, they didn't. Kelsey Mitchell had a strong season and finished strong. Aaliyah Boston, all those, everybody stepped up and did their part. So you can't really knock them for what they did, or whether you think Stephanie is not a good coach or not. I don't know. You might not agree with what she's doing as far as, like I said, with Caitlin Clark. But other than that, I think they're going to be strong next year, stronger next year than what they are this year. I'm just hoping, really, though, that they don't have a strike or a lockout. I doubt that they have a lockout because I think the owners, in my opinion, have much more to lose than the players. But the thing about that, the owners may call the players bluff and lock them out. And what will happen is if they lock them out, like a lot of, number one, they don't get paid a lot of money. And so, people living from check to check. So a strike, I don't think a strike will or a lockout, I don't think it'll last long. I think if the owners do lock him out, that means that the owners are playing hardball. And I was like, oh my man, that's tough. But yeah, if that's just a sign that the owners is just not going to try to cave and they're going to play hardball with him. But we'll see. That's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.